So, full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, I despise Tommy Lasorda. The amount of crying he did over the years, putting down his players, putting down umpires, putting down the opposition, making trouble for UP, where he got our Montreal Expos mascot kicked out of a game. He's an asshole, but like I said, I got to respect him as a manager because he took a marginal team and almost won three World Series in the 70s into the 80s, and of course won the 88 World Series. He's catalyst for the victory in 88. I don't like him either. Kirk Gibson is not my type of player. No Toronto Blue Jay fan is going to like anybody from the Tigers, either former or current. But they joined together probably one of the greatest moments in sports history. Game one of the World Series against Oakland. Oakland entered the World Series as heavy favorites. Gibson was injured after a long NLCS against the Mets, and he wasn't expected to play in that first game. Now, to set this up, with Kirk Gibson unable to start and officially listed as day-to-day on October 15, 88 in Game 1 due to a pulled left hamstring and severely swollen right knee, the injury was sustained on awkward slides in the second base in the NLCS in Games 5 and 7. Now, because of this, the Dodgers were at a heavy disadvantage. Additionally, because ace Orel Hershiser pitched in Game 7 of the NLCS, the Dodgers started former Oakland player while cast off Tim Belcher in Game 1 and would be unable to start Hershiser three times in a potential seven-game series as he had in the NLCS. Of course, we all know that Hershiser was the big factor in the Dodgers beating Oakland in 5. However, at this time, there was no indication. Meanwhile, Oakland, having swept the ALCS, sent a well-rested Dave Stewart, a former Dodger, to the mound. Both pitchers, however, would have their troubles in this game. Belcher loaded the bases in the first by giving up the single to Dave Henderson, hitting Jose Canseco, and walking Mark McGwire. Now, Canseco was hitting the right biceps as he checked his swing, and home plate umpire Doug Harvey awarded him first base. Dodger manager Tom Lasorda disputed this, thinking the ball hit Canseco's bat. Audio from the game seemed to confirm this, but replay showed the ball hit Canseco in the biceps. Now, here's where it got freaky. Stewart's problems began in the bottom of the first when he purposely hit Steve Sachs with his first pitch. After retiring Franklin Stubbs, Stewart boxed Sachs the second. Mickey Hatcher, Gibson's replacement, who had only one homer all season, shocked the crowd by hitting a two-run shot over off Stewart. Now, Hatcher further excited the Dodger Stadium fans by running full speed around the bases. Commentator Joe Garagiola noted, he ran in like he thought they were going to take it off the scoreboard. He really circled those bases in a hurry. And he's a Saturday Evening Post cover. Now, you would think this would be enough of a folk hero for the contest, but wait what happens. Stewart eventually calmed down, and the A's provided him a lead in their half of the second. After allowing a leadoff single to Glenn Hubbard and striking out Walt Weiss, Belcher's control problems continued as he walked both Stewart and Carney Lansford to load the bases. After Dave Henderson struck out and Canseco was batting third, not cleanup, Canseco whacked a 1-0 pitch for a grand slam. It hit the movie camera in the center field, denting an NBC game camera in the process, giving the A's what seemed to be a commanding 4-2 lead. Canseco's grand slam in Game 1 was his only hit of the series. His fellow Bash brother Mark McGwire had only one hit as well, the game-winning shot that ended Game 3, and of course, at the time, they all thought that Oakland was due for a major comeback, but the Dodgers won the next two contests. Now, with one out in the sixth, the Dodgers broke Stewart's groove with three consecutive singles by Mike Marshall, John Shelby, and Mike Scioscia. Marshall scored, Stewart retired the next two batters and the inning, and stranded Shelby in scoring position, but the Dodgers had cut the A's lead to 4-3. Unknown to the fans and media at the time, Kirk Gibson was watching the game on TV while undergoing physical therapy in the Dodger clubhouse, and Vin Scully had noted that Gibson was not on the bench. At some point in the game, television cameras scanned the Dodger dugout, and commentator Vin Scully, worker for NBC for the 88 postseason, observed again, like I mentioned, that Gibson was nowhere to be found. We didn't know where he was. This spurred Gibson to call for Mitch Poole, the team ball boy, to set up a tee for him to take some warm-up swings. After a few swings, Gibson told Poole to go get Lasorda for an evaluation. Lasorda presently appeared. Shortly thereafter, Gibson was seen in the dugout wearing his batting helmet. Along the way, NBC's Bob Costas could hear Gibson's agonized sounding grunts after every hit. Now, according to folklore, in the Natural in '84, Roy Hobbs did the same thing. He was coming off injury, needed a big late inning comeback to win the contest, and hit the big homer by hitting the outdoor lights, and everything exploded. So you were feeling something was going to go on here, but we couldn't really predict it. Either Gibson was going to hit and give a big strikeout, but we didn't know the drama that would happen. I watched this game live. I didn't see this coming at all. Now, A's closer Dennis Eckersley, who was really untouchable on the '88 campaign, came on to pitch tonight to close it out for Stewart. After retiring the first two batters, Mike Schultz and Jeff Hamilton, Eckersley, former A's teammate Mike Davis, a very, very talented player, but not a very good, consistent player in recent years, batted for Alfredo Griffin. Now, to my opinion, Griffin would not have got on base because, unfortunately, these Blue Jay on-base expert play wasn't there with the A's. And Davis, he walked on 5 pitches. Eckersley was trying to hit, didn't take him seriously. Now, during Davis's at-bat, Dave Anderson initially entered the on-deck circle to hit for Alejandro Pena. Eckersley pitched carefully to Davis because the A's remembered the home runs he hit for the A's years earlier, and not as popularly believed because the light hitting Anderson was on deck. Now, after Davis' walk, Lasordo called back Anderson and sent a hobbled Kirk Gibson to the plate, amid cheers from the Dodger Stadium crowd. Now, Gibson later on said, if he throws me a certain pitch, we'll get in this in a second, he was going to hit it out. Now, Gibson, who literally could not move, he bravely fouled off Eckersley's best offerings, demonstrating how badly he was hurting. On one foul, Gibson hobbled towards first and prompted Scully to quip, and it had to be an effort to run that far. After Gibson fouled off several pitches, Davis stole second on ball 3. On the next pitch, the 8th of the at-bat, he got the pitch he was looking for, and he basically said, I was looking for a backdoor slider. As soon as Eckersley threw it, I knew I was going to have a chance. He slammed the slider into the right field bleachers to win the game. It was more of a, what do you call, almost like a curling swing. You know, you see a curlers bring it back, and because he made contact with Eckersley's fastball, the ball just basically jumped. The effort was from the pitch, not from the swing. The footage of Gibson hobbling around the bases on both hard legs and pumping his fist as he rounded second became an iconic baseball film highlight and drew comparisons the next day, the theme music to The Natural, stuff like that. And it was also comparable to what he did in '84 against the Padres when the Tigers won the World Series. Now, Gibson would never bat in the series again, and his walk-off homer in Game 1 marked the first World Series game, which was ended with a comfort-buying home run. It is somewhat forgotten detail highlighting the teamwork that was this Dodger squad's trademark. Gibson's heroics would not have been possible without the earlier home run by the man who replaced Gibson in the lineup, the very hyper Mickey Hatcher. Now, by the time Gibson reached the locker after Game 1, bullpen coach Mark Cressy had written R. Hobbs on a piece of paper and taped it over Gibson's nameplate, alluding to the walk-off homer by the fictional slugger played by Robert Redford in The Natural. Indeed, the next night, NBC replayed the home run, intercutting with film and music of the Hobbs home run from the movie. And a lot of people had not seen the movie, by the way. Not everybody watched The Natural, and even Robert Redford said, I was shocked to see fiction turn to real life. Now, Game 1 is the only game in World Series history in which a Grand Slam hitting team failed to both win the game and the series. This was Canseco's first career Grand Slam, by the way, which was shown on the screen right before he hit it. In '56, the Yankees hit the Grand Slam and lost Game 2, but prevailed in the series. Now, Gibson became the second player to record a walk-off hit with 2 outs and his team trailing in the bottom of the 9th inning of a World Series game, following the great Cookie Lavagetto in the '47 World Series. Only one other player, Brett Phillips in the 2020 World Series, has since accomplished this feat, and this was the last Game 1 walk-off home run till the 2023 World Series. Now, just a basic breakdown. Oakland again trailed 2-0 after the first. They went up 4-2, and again the 5-4 victory based on the 2-run home run. 7 hits for each. Perfect conditions, 20 degrees Celsius, or we call summer weather in Canada. Canseco hit a home run. Mick Hatcher and Gibson, and Pena got the victory with Eckersley taking the loss. Now, this could have been an Oakland dynasty in a lot of ways, and I tell you why. They won in 89, 90, and 90 to get the World Series. Bet the Giants in 1989 to win the World Series, lost 4 straight to Cincinnati. Then they played Toronto in the ALCS a couple of years later in Toronto through Alomar. So that was 4 divisional titles in 5 years and 3 World Series appearances, only 1 title. But like I'm just saying, this was completely bizarre. I was no indication that the Dodgers had the team to beat Oakland because Oakland was loaded. They had defense, they have the offense, the Bass brothers, Eckersley, good starting rotation. And, game 2 was just a continuation. But Orel Hershiser was the big MVP of the series because he eventually won 2 games in the series. And Storm Davis, again, was no opposition for them. Actually, Hatcher and Davis later hit in Game 5 of the series. So Davis, the reason why he left Oakland, he did for the Dodgers what he would have done for Oakland. He would have stayed. So it was not only the fact that Kirk Gibson, which pitched incorrectly, Eckersley should have known he was looking for that pitch. Mike Davis, they gave up on him. And the thing is, you gave up on a player. If that player plays against you down the road, it's going to come to hurt you. And Davis had talent. Like I said, for a lot of people, he was not say like Reggie Jackson, but kind of a similar thing. You never know who's going to open out. So, what I want you to consider, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm only saying this to be completely honest. Davis again was the key factor. If he wouldn't have got on, base, right? If he wouldn't have hit the home run in Game 5, they wouldn't have won. So it's an interesting career. I'm going to go over it very quickly because you'll look at some general numbers. He had played with Oakland almost the whole decade of the 1980s. Now, in the 3 straight campaigns, ladies and gentlemen, he had more than 19 home runs and almost 70 RBIs per season. Didn't do much with the Dodgers. Now, you got to understand this. Davis batted 196 in the regular season of the 88 campaign. Scored a winning run in Game 1, and then hit the big home run in Game 5. So who got the better of that? If Oakland would have kept him, maybe they wouldn't have had a pinch hitter like him that would have been as effective, someone with that experience. And he knew the Oakland pitchers as well. It's pretty freaky. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, Game 1 of the 88 World Series, if you're a Dodger fan, God must exist. He must be a Dodger fan, despite Lasorda and despite Kirk Gibson being an idiot. Because when Kirk Gibson first came to the Dodgers, he was getting verbal at spring training against the media, against his teammates. He was never more than a 20 home run, 75 RBI guy on a regular basis, but that's the type of money player you need. You look at John Ferguson with the Montreal Canadiens, how good he was in the playoffs. J.C. Tremblay as well. You look at Craig Simpson, in the playoffs for Edmonton. Kenny Linsman. Sometimes you could have a superstar player, and it's the Royal players that got to do it. And Kirk Gibson, in the best of his career, was a Royal player. So 2 World Series within 4 years. So that alone tells me there was a destiny going on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, we're going to do some historical podcasts with the preseason starting. The Dodgers of San Diego with the see-through pants. I've seen some of the pants. Yes, some of them are see-through. I don't know why, because it's not a deep white on white or blue on blue. If you like what we're doing here with historical podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. If you watched that game in '88 like I did, I really couldn't believe what I just saw. Just like the announcer said. By the way, these are some of the quotes from that game. And look who's coming up. Vin Scully on NBC saying about Gibson comes up to the plate. This is what he said at the home run call. High fly ball in the right field. She is gone. And a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened, Vin Scully. But Jack Buck, I think, was a little bit better. We have a 3-2 pitch coming here from Eckersley. Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run, unbelievable home run for Gibson, and the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw. Is this happening, Bill? One of the most remarkable finishes in any World Series game. A one-handed home run from Kirk Gibson. I've seen a lot of dramatic finishes in a lot of sports, but this one might top almost every one. I can't really do a repeat, but Bill White was the color commentator. But Tommy Lasorda, this is what he said, the egotist, as I call him. Nobody thought we could beat the Mighty Mets. Nobody thought we could beat the team who won 104 games, but we believed it. I don't think as good as Jimmy Johnson's. How about them Cowboys? But if you're a Dodger fan, God must be a Dodger fan because putting up with all the losses to the Yankees and still coming back. But Monday, and the Dodgers winning on a home run pretty well that won the whole series. God must be a Dodger fan because the Dodgers basically in those 2 world championships should not have won them. But the problem is, it's what you do lately. What have you done for me lately? The Dodgers are the Janet Jackson of Major League Baseball. So again, thanks for dropping in. But as we like we say in hockey, you can apply to baseball. You got to keep your stick on the ice, which means you got to concentrate. If Eckersley would just have wasted a pitch and walked him, he wouldn't have won the World Series. The Dodgers, in my personal opinion. Eckersley was stupid, egotistical. So you had the 3 egos: Gibson, Lasorda, and Eckersley. But Eckersley was the pitcher. He had the last thing, and he couldn't finish it off. Thanks for listening. Bye.